Hello, it's been 100 years. It's been a long time since I've uploaded a vlog. There's a Tessa fish right there. If you hear any weird dog noises. It's been a minute since I've uploaded. I stopped vlogging because I wanted to be respectful of the Black Lives Matter movement, and then about a month ago I filmed a vlog that was really meaningful to me, and it was very long, and there were many clips, and due to a series of very frustrating tech issues, after a couple weeks of just really failing with the whole video editing thing, and as I was trying to export this video and it wasn't working, I finally just said, okay, I'm gonna try one more time, and if it doesn't work, then it's not supposed to, and it did not work. So I deleted the footage and said I'm just gonna move on, which I, looking back, think was a really good call, because it was a lot. Anyway, so I will not be editing this video. This will be just a one-shot. I have moved, so I am in a new space. I'm actually in my art studio, and I'm so jazzed about it. So I'm sitting in my little painting corner. I have a work in progress behind me, don't worry about it. Got an easel that I built a while ago. I have a black canvas. I have leftover paint from painting my guitar. I have just a normal pencil and a paper plate in case I need a little palette. And I do abstract art. I'm not like a big brush person, especially because I really like using like really thick body acrylic, and I really like mixing it with like a super heavy gloss gel, so brushes are just not like they're just not like the ideal tool for what I like to do. So I have a super fancy double-ended Betty Crocker spatula from like Target, or like it was a dollar section of some store, and I got it anyway. I'm rambling, so there's a part of my brain where I'm just like, first of all, there's a part of my brain, can you not ferociously lick yourself? And the other part of my brain is quarantine mush. Okay. There's a part of me that just like can't figure stuff out. Okay, bye. Unless I talk it out or write it down. Which would be fine, except for the fact that at the start of June, the person that I loved most in this world, just like shattered everything I knew about my life and my relationship with her and her partner. They were my family, and she revealed lots and lots and lots of lies. And I am high-functioning autistic, which means the truth flies out of my face, whether I want it to or not. And honesty is like the biggest core value I have. It is a huge boundary for me, and I thought it was for her too, and it was not. So, she revealed all of this information, then literally abandoned me and her partner and left the fucking state, which, you know, I support, because if I was in her situation, I too would want to completely run away. But she left me with a lot of pieces to pick up, and a lot of truths that I thought her ex-partner, who was one of my best friends, anyway, he didn't care about what she did, or the things she'd said, or the boundaries she violated, or the fact that she was just a liar. So I kept my boundary, and I held up my end of the deal, and that means neither of them are in my life anymore. And I had made them my family. So, God, this is so embarrassing, but I'm like alone. And I'm laughing not because it's funny, but because I'm just terrified to publicly admit that. I have friends, you know, but not friends in the way of the people you can call at 3 a.m. and understand with certainty that they're gonna pull up to your home in 15 minutes in their pajamas to love and support you. The people that you would call if you were in the hospital, the people that you celebrate holidays and birthdays and stuff with. You know, the people I have in my life now they're fantastic and I love them. But they're not family. And so I'm kind of alone. So I figure things out by talking them through or writing them down, and suddenly I have like no one to really talk to. And I haven't been writing, because every time I try, I'm just like angry. And I'm not an angry person. I'm a very assertive person. I'm a very, I like to confront things head on, and I think that confrontational has a really bad like connotation to it, but I'm not an angry person. And I'm really comfortable with talking about my feelings and identifying them, except for when I'm angry. I don't know what to do with it. It feels so foreign to me, So I just shut down. And I spend a lot of time scrolling social media, which during a global pandemic and a civil rights movement doesn't help the anger at all. And so I have all of this hurt, because that's what anger is. It's I'm too terrified to be in this much emotional pain, so your body tries to protect you and it turns it into rage. And I don't know what to do with that. But I am trying really hard to go back to doing the things that I know bring me joy and bring me solace and bring me comfort. And that's art. It's reading books, it's painting, it's talking, it's writing, it's doing all the things that I really am just terrified to do. Because I know that it is really scary to not really know what's going on with myself, but it's so much scarier to feel it and to really let myself experience it. That's really scary to me. So I've just been like scrolling on Instagram, which is just such a nightmare. And I keep going on YouTube and watching artist interviews, everything from like Song Association to Off Camera with Sam Jones to like podcasts to just listening to other artists talk so that I don't have to hear my own artist brain. And that's not healthy or helpful past a certain point. I think distracting yourself to an extent is good when it becomes too much to bear and you need a temporary distraction. But weeks and weeks and weeks of scrolling the internet is not a temporary distraction. That's just avoiding the issue. Which is what I was doing, because I loved her. And I know that she loved me in her own way, but I don't know how you can love someone and lie to them in the way that she did to the two people that she claimed to care most about. And I especially don't know how you be lied to for 3 years about some of the most vulnerable, necessary parts of a relationship, and then someone finally tells you, hey, all of that was a lie. I don't know how you say that's okay. I still want you in my life. Understanding full well that it could happen again. Because to me, that's just a boundary. Anyway, I'm not going to spend this entire thing talking about this girl that broke my heart. The world is on fire. I was a waitress, which means I have been unemployed since March. It is now almost August, and I am so lucky to be receiving unemployment. So I'm making enough money to like pay my bills and like base stuff. And I can stay home, which is such a huge privilege. And I think that's the other thing that's really like weighing on my mind is this is a 2-bedroom condo. I somehow like upgraded my living circumstances during a global pandemic, a civil rights movement, and a period of time where so many people are just struggling to survive on a base level. And to not even it just feels selfish to enjoy it. But I also understand, like, I was homeless 4 years ago. 4 years ago, I was couch surfing and sleeping in my car and stealing food from the grocery store just so I would have something to eat, and I was really, really struggling with like my health and my life and my trauma. I've known immense struggle my whole life, and it feels like the most selfish thing in the world to not be struggling in a time when humanity as a whole is struggling. And that's another reason why I haven't vlogged, because I'm like, what am I supposed to say? Congratulate me about my new home? Watch me cook all of this fantastic local organic produce that I have access to because I joined a CSA months ago. Like, I just keep gaslighting myself of no one wants to hear you. Like, the success you have now doesn't matter. Like, I'm just so mean to myself because it feels comfortable because I'm used to it. I've spent my whole life struggling, and I
I started dealing with survivor's guilt when I was 13 and watched one of my friends get run over by a car and then died 2 days later. I've had survivor's guilt for like 12 years at this point, and so there's something very ingrained about who the fuck are you to even be alive right now, much less enjoying yourself. Don't you remember what happened? And people are dying every day. Not even just from COVID-19, but they're just dying every day. And I keep waking up, and I don't really know what to do with that sometimes. So I scroll Instagram, because who am I supposed to talk to? The person I thought understood me is gone, and they're also not even who I thought they were in the first place. And so I do yoga, and I walk my dog, and I hang out with my mom, who is the only actual family I have at this point, and I tell myself that I don't deserve the things that I have, and I have them, but I don't deserve them, so I don't use them. And that's dumb. And I realize how dumb that is when I say it out loud, but I don't know, it makes sense in the moment. I'm just trying to really nurture the kid that I had to force myself to stop being at a really young age. And that's a long story, but my childhood stopped when I was 9 years old. It was kind of weird and didn't really exist to begin with, but it came full crash stop when I was 9, and now I'm an adult that I never thought I would be, and I survived things that I was certain I would not survive. And now I'm living in this dream scenario where I not only have a roof over my head and food in my fridge, but I have an extra bedroom that I get to fill with art supplies. And I have a garage where, yeah, I can park the car that I'm lucky enough to have, or I can hang a pull-up bar, because I'm physically able to do that after my back injury. That's crazy. And I can rollerblade, and I can do all these things. I'm able to do all these things that I used to not be able to do. And not only am I able, but I have the opportunity to do them in the safety of my own home, which is just crazy. And God, I still remember being 18, 19, in and out of psych hospitals, constantly overdosing or fucking something up and in the ICU. And I remember doctors telling me, not just one, multiple doctors telling me that I was probably just gonna be in like a group home for the rest of my life, because it just, like, me living independently just seemed like not an option, but also just like not safe. And now I have a condo, and not only am I living alone, but I am alone, kind of. And I hurt and I'm sad, but I'm still present, I'm still lucid, I'm functioning. And I'm living a life that really still seems pretty wild, that I'm even able to do it in the first place. So it's a miracle. And if I lived through all those overdoses and all those crazy situations and all these things that all these people told me I was just never gonna survive, I think I should enjoy it, even if it feels really counterintuitive and selfish and dumb. And now's about the time when I'm thinking, maybe I should just not put this on the internet. But I can feel that that's my brain. But there's something bigger than me that's just, call it God, call it the universe, call it spirits, call it a ghost. I don't even know what it fucking is, but something outside of myself like knows that this is important for some reason, even if it feels really, really dumb. So I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing at all. But I'm sitting and I'm painting, and I told myself that I would. And so I am. And the goal isn't to make some masterpiece. I'm literally using leftover paint so that I don't have to mix anything. And I'm using a fucking spatula, which, like, I love this tool. I love using it. It's so smooth. It's so nice. It doesn't leave any brush strokes. It just lets the paint be what it wants to be. But no one ever tells you, paint with a spatula. That's a good call. I guess that's just a metaphor for my life in some weird way. Just painting with spatulas. I don't know. I'm trying to write an autobiography because I've been telling myself and everyone that would listen for the past like 10 years that's what I'm meant to do. And I know I am. I've had a weird life. And I've never read a book that made me feel like, oh, someone else has had a life like this. And I know those people are out there. Because you're never like the only one. Like in for the most part, anything you do, like you're never the only one who's had that idea or felt that way or done that thing or tried something. We're all just kind of living the same life, doing different things and learning the same lessons and I'm just trying to figure this all out. And I don't really have anyone to talk this through with, so like any millennial, let's tell the whole internet my life story. I don't know what I'm doing. This feels... I'm so judgmental of myself. Like, I can throw paint on a canvas and paint abstract art and not judge it. Like, I think a lot of people judge abstract art in the way of like, that doesn't look like anything. That doesn't make sense. What are they trying to do there? I'm just trying to let the paint be. And I think I do that because I'm trying to find a way just to let myself be. I'm trying to go back to the kid that I was and that still exists in my soul. And I'm trying just to let them be a kid. And so I feel very much so like there's just different pieces of my soul. And, you know, part of that is the kooky art teacher that's just constantly encouraging from the sidelines, like, just paint whatever your heart tells you to, let the colors go wherever they want to go, and just be and just do, and nothing's good, nothing's bad, it just is. And so that's part of me. And then there's the super critical mom part of me that's like, why are you talking to yourself in an increasingly dark corner, telling very private personal things to the internet and revealing details about yourself? And then there's the little kid part of me that's like, paint! and just wants to snuggle my dog and do somersaults and play games and run around outside and exist. There's a piece of my soul that is just survivor's guilt of who the fuck are you? Why are you enjoying this life? You shouldn't have lived. You shouldn't have been the one that survived the like dozens of things that I should not have survived. Like, why you? Like, what the fuck? Like, judgmental and mean. You know, it's not something I would ever say to anyone else. It's not a way I would judge anyone else. Like, I would never in my life imagine a scenario where someone survives something horrific, even just one horrific thing. I could never in my life imagine going up to that person and being like, why did you survive? You for sure should have been the one that died. Like, that's just the cruelest thing you could say to someone. But that's how I talk to myself. Which then I question that, because it's like, well, if you're a person like anyone else and that's how you talk to yourself, how fucking cruel and heartless are you? It just like, it's this constant self-judgment. And I don't know what to do with all of it. I am an objectively good, skilled makeup artist. I have not worn makeup in months. I am objectively a good, skilled writer. And I have been my whole life. But I refuse to let myself sit down at the computer and just write. There's a piece of me that's always saying, you don't deserve it. And I don't know how to get past that. I heard, like I said, I've been endlessly scrolling the internet. And I've been watching a lot of interviews, artist interviews. And one that I've really been liking is called Off Camera. And it's hosted by a man named Sam Jones. And I can't remember who the person was that he was interviewing. But they said something that stuck with me, which was, they're like, I think this is an old Chinese proverb. I could be totally wrong, but I heard it one time. What's the fastest way to sweep a floor? You sweep the floor. And it seems so simple. Like, of course that's the fastest way to sweep a floor. You just have to do it. Like, if you're constantly researching how to do something, if you're constantly trying to find the best tools and the best product and the best broom and everything, the more you prepare to sweep the floor, the more time the whole task is taking. When objectively, it's just sweeping the floor.
You just grab a broom and you do it. You don't overcomplicate it. You don't procrastinate and put it off and get angry at yourself. You just sweep the damn floor. And what's the fastest way to write a book? You sit down and you write a book. What's the fastest way to make a meal? You go in the kitchen and you make a meal. What's the fastest way to walk my dog? I just put a leash on her and I walk my dog. What's the fastest way to paint a painting? You get paint, you get something to paint on, and then you paint it. What's the fastest way to process the worst thing in life happening to you? You accept that it happened and you let yourself process it, and you apparently get inevitably covered in paint. I do this every time. This is why I'm like sitting on a quilt. Like I'm sitting on a quilt in the corner of the room on the floor, because if I'm already on the floor, then the paint doesn't have that far to fall or to splatter. Oh my God, I'm covered. I'm judging myself because there's not a single child alive who loves painting who's like concerned that they get paint on their leg. She lied to me because she was too scared to tell the truth to herself. And I know this. People treat us oftentimes the way that they treat themselves. When someone's really mean and hateful and judgmental towards someone else, you can almost be certain that that's how the voice in their head sounds talking about them. When someone is mean or hurtful, it's because their brain is mean and hurtful to them. I know that she loved me, and I know that she loved her partner. I know that objectively to be true, and she still lied because she spent her entire life lying to herself because she had to, and I get that. How can I possibly judge someone for not loving me the way that I love them? We're different people. Love isn't this one-size-fits-all thing, and if someone does it differently, that means it's not love. I've been so angry convincing myself, well, she couldn't have possibly loved me if she was that dishonest, but I think she loved me, but she didn't know how to be honest with herself. So how could she ever be honest with anyone else about the things that made her her?
there's a part of me that wants to hate her. And I can't. And so instead I've just been hating myself. And torturing myself because I don't even know. I'm just trying to figure out this life. And I don't know what I'm doing. But I know instinctually that the only way out of this is to go back to the child that I was and that still exists in my soul and say, what do you want to do today? And listen to the answer and then do it. Not overthink it, not judge it, not adult rationalize all the reasons why I shouldn't or why it's not a good idea or why I don't deserve to. Like, I have all these paint supplies. If the kid in my heart says, I want to paint today, then I should fucking paint today. And I did paint today, and it feels good. And every fiber of my being, like 99% of it, is unsure and uncomfortable all the time. But that 1% of the little kid that somehow found a way to hide and survive everything, that little kid's like, dope. There's paint all over the canvas. You have rollerblades. Go rollerblade. So I am done. The sun is setting, which means it's now really, really dark in this room. But I painted. You can't really tell, and it's just. It just is what it is. It's not good, it's not bad. I put paint on a canvas and I talk to a camera and I am covered in paint. So I'm gonna find a way to not be covered in paint, but also not get paint all over my just shampooed carpets. And I'm gonna go downstairs and I'm gonna throw some rollerblades on and I'm gonna rollerblade my garage. Because I can, and because the child in my soul says you should go rollerblading. So that's what I'm gonna do. And I'm just gonna upload this to the internet without even watching it and questioning myself and doubting everything that I said and did. I'm just gonna go with the flow, even though I'm so very uncomfortable. I will do this again. If you somehow made it this far and listened to my rambling, thank you for hearing me. Thank you for listening. Thank you for holding space for me. Thank you for surviving everything in your life that led you to this moment. I hope that you find the kid that's in your soul. And I hope that when that kid says, hey, you should do this cool thing, I hope you remember this video. And I hope that something inside of you says, you should really go do that thing. It's probably gonna be fun. And then you go do it. So I'm gonna go rollerblade. Have a good night, y'all. Goodbye.